the main thing is that the good investors work with us and they say, okay, yes, how I can help this family? Don't worry, take the money from escrow. Let's do this. I will finance the family for more. And yeah, that and they just work with the family and they understand that they are being the bank, but they're being a philanthropic bank, and they just work with us.
Welcome everybody to today's Hero Capital Raising Show. I'm your host, Tim Mai, and today I have a good friend, someone who I've known for a long time, about him and his organization, Mr. Ivan Anz. Ivan is the founder of a very interesting real estate investment company called Philanthropy, which is a mix between philanthropy and investing. And Ivan has been a serial entrepreneur, owns many different businesses in more than 10 different countries. And Philanthroinvestors is dedicated to achieving social impact while returning profits to his. He was born in Argentina, grew up in his small family business into the #1 car dealership group of his native state in Argentina. Wow. Okay. And Ivan has been in the real estate space for 10 years now. He focuses on single family homes and has acquired over 700 properties, which is a lot in the single family homes business, and have raised over $72 million to acquire them. And so with that, let's give Ivan a big welcome. Woohoo! All right.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your welcome and your measures and so on. Yeah, it's been an interesting journey from being a traditional entrepreneur to a social entrepreneur, mostly which started with Equity and Help. Equity and Help is my first philanthro investing development. Because you see, philanthro investing is the two words, right? Philanthropy and investing combined. Growing your capital while helping others, making money while changing people's lives, in that line. And equity, which is, of course, growing your capital, helping others. So yeah, this is my first philanthro investing endeavor. In 2014, we started in the United States, but I started in Argentina in 2009 in my own country. Then I moved to the United States to expand the model in the United States. And yeah, it has been very fulfilling and every day growing and expanding the team and so on. So thank you for having me in the show.
Yeah, definitely. So share with us a bit about your journey from the other business over to this philanthro investing model, and especially why you chose real estate to do the model as well.
Yes, of course. So in around 2007, 8, I was just doing business for business, selling cars and money for money. Okay, here is the car, give me the money, and here is the lot. I was starting to do real estate development in Argentina with 20 years old. I was like at that time, and I was starting to do real estate development and say, okay, yeah, I can sell the lot and I can get the money from the lot, but I would start feeling empty in my heart. It was just making a lot of money and seeing the bank account grow, but it was just that. So one day I am in my car driving in this private neighborhood that I was developing and buying lots and selling lots. And then there is this guy, his name Andres. And all this story, by the way, is in my Housing Philanthropy Investing book. But the main thing is that this guy, Andres, comes to me and says, hey, Ivan, I want this lot. I love the neighborhood. I want this lot. So the kids were in the car. And the lots were 50,000 each, which for Argentina at the time was a lot of money. Like, was not a cheap lot. And then what happened is that he comes and says, you know what, Ivan, I love it. Everything is great, but I really cannot afford the 50,000. And I say, okay, but it must be a way you can. Do you have a bank that can give you the money? And Andres says, oh, no, there is no. What happened is that I had a credit card and I missed a payment. And because I miss a payment, I cannot get it. So that was the beginning of the conversation. And I say, do you have savings? No, he says, I live paycheck to paycheck. So at that time, the kids in the back of the car start saying, we want to live here, daddy, we want to live here, daddy, we want to live here. And then I hear that and I say, Andres, listen, okay, when you find the way, just let me know. Okay, that night, I am taking a shower around 9 p.m. in Argentina. That was in July 2007. July 2009. July 2009. I am taking a shower, and this idea comes to me like a God revelation. And Philanthroinvestors in Spanish, okay? The idea comes in Spanish because I was in Argentina. Philanthroinversión, okay, in Spanish. And I say, what is this? What you're trying to tell me? Ivan, it's not all about making money. Like business is not just making money. Philanthroinversión, philanthroinvesting, okay. Oh, it got me the whole idea. I can help this family own their lot. And I don't need to have the 50,000 right away with me. So I called the next morning Andres and I say, Andres, how much can you afford per month? And he says, why? Just tell me how much. And he says, $230. And I say, okay, the lot is yours. And he says, how? Why? Yes. You just start, we are going to go on Saturday to the lot. You're going to sign the documents. And then you pay the first 30 days from now. And the lot is yours. But how many years? Whatever is 50,000 divided by 230. And then the lot is yours.
Wow.
And then the phone drops because it was like a standard phone. I don't know, in his home. I call in his home phone, like no cell phone, but his home. And the phone drops to the floor. And then he's jumping on the other side of the line and telling to the family that we own this lot. We own this lot. And then that's how the journey started. And then my wife, Bella, who is 99.9% of my success, because I listen to her everything that she has as an idea to, she's observing externally. When you are very close to the mountain, you cannot see the mountain. But if you are far away from the mountain, you can see it. So she sees things I don't see. So she says, Ivan, listen, why we don't go to the United States and we see if this model will work there? Because everything that happened in the United States, the world will copy, including the bad and the good. So burgers, everything is all over the world. And then the good things also the world will copy. So I started coming to the United States and coming to real estate seminars in the United States to learn how real estate was working in the US. And that was 2010. So I started learning, and then I just went and found this model. I found a friend that was doing something similar what I was doing in Argentina, but with houses, not with lots. And then I discovered, but I was thinking, like the first comment I gave to my wife when she told me this, it was, Bella, listen, but in the US, everybody owns their home. It's the American dream. Everybody owns their home. Everybody owns their car. Everybody has vacations. Everybody like that. That's what I was thinking when I was living in Argentina. And then I come here and I discover more than 50% of Americans do not qualify for a traditional mortgage. And more than 50% of Americans will never own their home and will be always tenants. And then I start researching the ranking for the countries with the majority percentage of population on home ownership versus tenancy. And the United States in the position number 44.
Wow.
And I say, what? That's the reality I found. So I founded Equity and Help in 2014. So it's a 10 years company. I hired a professional CEO at that time, an American. And then we start putting the team together and we launch. The rest is story, but now the company has 10 years, investors in 14 countries of the world who help families in the United States to live in their own home for $500-600 a month instead of paying rent. And that investors are making double-digit returns between 8 to 12% is the average, but depend on their portfolio. And then the company made it 3 years in a row to the Inc. 500 in the position number 374 one year, 128 another year, and 83 another year.
Wow.
One year we had a 3,900% of growth in the Inc. 500. And working towards the next level. Our CEO, Mr. Jaime Gomez, is also from Latin America, but he moved to the United States like 30 years ago from Colombia. He has an MBA in the Phoenix University and is running the whole team and so on. We have 35 employees and 200 plus independent contractors in 32 states where we are helping these families. And the whole model is to work as a team between the investor, Equity and Help as the company, and the family to recover a home that maybe was abandoned and was not paying taxes to municipalities and or to counties. And then now we convert it into a happy home, which has life and light. So yeah, and then the average equity gain for the investors is 26% as soon as the home flip happens in the first year. And then that's pretty much it. We manage 700 plus single family homes in 32 states now.
Wow, very impressive. All right, so I want to get some clarification on the business model. So you buy these homes from tax foreclosures, is that correct?
We buy the homes in multiple areas. Auction, sellers that have them for long term, they cannot sell them and they are there and we make them an offer. So it goes from traditional to auction.
Okay.
We haven't explored tax foreclosures. No, not that line. Mostly is auctions.
Okay.
Auctions and traditional homes that are not selling for a long time and so on. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So bank foreclosure, auctions, homes that's been sitting there. So you buy them with cash using your investors' money?
Cash.
Is that correct?
With our own cash, yes.
All right. You buy them with cash, you fix them up, and then you sell a finance or owner finance to the buyers, correct?
Yes, that's right. We buy them with our own cash, and then we do a basic setup of the home. Okay, just very basic, so it becomes sellable, not necessarily like livable, but sellable. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, and then because let's say the home, the average price that our investors will pay for that asset is around 60,000 these days, and that is a home that is based on in a different place in different states, but it's a home that is around 100,000 after repair value. So between 80 to 100,000, let's say, instead of being egocentric and capture all of that equity for me or for the investors, what happens is my company makes 10,000 on that home. The investor makes 26% on the home, whatever it is, 26% more. And then we make, let's say, okay, we made that 26% for the investor, and then the other difference up to the ARV is for the family.
Oh,
which
wow.
In day number one, so from 60,000, let's add 26%, we're talking about 10,000, 12,000 more, 72,000. From 72,000 to 100,000, that's all equity for the family, because they are going to walk in with a down payment of $1,000 to $2,000 down payment. That's what we ask them. We do a qualification, very deep qualification in the family. We don't check credit score, but we have a way to do soft pull, but we don't do hard pull. And we have a way to check for their criminality record, things like that. And we also have a way to do 4 different areas that we check, which is the first one is we want the family to be stable tenants for the last 2 years and to show us proof of that. We want the family to show us proof that they are great handymen, like they have handyman capabilities. And you know who we are helping, Tim? And this is amazing. On the COVID crisis, we had only 11% of forbearance. So of the entire portfolio, 11% of the families ask for 90 days to be able to catch up with their payments during the
Gotcha.
whole COVID crisis. And the reason is because we are helping the people that is doing the services that do not depend on computer. Like we are helping on the firefighters, we are helping the nurse, we are helping the independent contractors, the plumbing guys, the electricians. That are the families. We are helping the working class Americans.
I love it. I love
You
it.
see?
And yeah, okay. So when you sell it to them, you sell it in a sellable condition, which means that they still have to put their sweat equity in
Yes.
fixing up the property. Okay. Very interesting.
That's what it is. So it's a teamwork. They get that sweat equity. Let's call it another 25%. Let's call it simple. Equity help purchase the home, make some setup, charges all of the combines on our financial system, all of the expenses that we will need to be able to operate that home and to sell it to an investor. And we make 9,000-10,000 in that home as a company. Then the investor makes another 25%, which is another 12,000. And the family makes the other, like, the majority of it, like 14,000, let's say, or more. No, we were calling like 20,000, 28,000. So from 72,000 to 100,000, that's for the family. But they need to put that sweat equity. I have a story, team, that you will be amazed. We have a family that bought a home on this way. In 2018, they bought the home. Listen to this. 2018, they bought the home. They paid for the home. And at that time, the prices were lower. Like Equity and Health was buying the home for 30,000, and the investor will buy the home for 37,000, and the family will buy the home for 55,000 or something like that, or 50,000. So, and then in that sense, in that time, this family, came into the home 2018 and do their own sweat equity, which maybe they went to Home Depot and they spend like maybe 5,000 in Home Depot or 10,000 in Home Depot or something like that, plus their homework, their sweat equity. In 2021, they sold the home for $270,000.
Nice.
They pay off our investor for 50,000 or whatever was the balance, because we don't have a payoff cancellation fee or nothing. Like they can pay off in 30 days if they want. And this family now got 200,000 of cash for first time in their life in their bank account.
That's awesome.
So it's a different model. It's a philanthropy investing model, you know? That's basically it. And
I love it. I love it. And then your investors, when they're investing into these deals, do they invest into a specific property, or do they invest into your fund, and then your fund invests into a portfolio of properties?
Exactly. So they invest in a portfolio of properties that are their own. So I was wanting to show you. Let me find out. Can I share a screen with you?
Yeah, you can. But keep in mind, to explain it, keep in mind that the audio version of this interview goes into a podcast, and then the video version goes on our YouTube. But so you can share your screen. Just make sure you speak it, so that way the podcast listener can also understand what you are saying.
Okay, so yes, let me see if I can find it here. I want to show you the last third sheet, which is the portfolio results. I don't have the last one, but I will, because it's not opening for some reason here, but I will show you the one before that I have here.
Okay.
Let me see if I can share the screen. Do I have a screen share capabilities? Yes, I do.
You should, yeah.
Okay, good. Share, here we go. Okay. Let me know when you see the screen.
Yep.
Okay, good. Let me minimize this thing here. Okay, so it's not this thing. Okay, good. So this is, let me make it bigger. Okay, this is the Q1 2024 results for Equity and Health. Okay, so this show you that our investors in the 72 million of assets recovered. What assets recovered mean? That is assets that we took that were abandoned and now are in our portfolio. And then we have average equity gain 24.60%. That's the difference between what the investor paid for the home and what we sold it to the family. Then cash on cash, 12.06% in the entire 72 million. Then we have 700 plus homes recovered, 34 US states. I told you 32, but it's 34. 306 counties is where we have investments in, and 431 cities. The average investor price in the entire history of the company is 52,000. That means that in present time is more, and in the past it was less, okay? The average after repair value is 79 now. That means that now it's closer to 100,000, and in before was like 60,000, so 79,000 is now. This graph that I'm showing here is a graph that shows that in April last year, 23, we distribute 226,000 to the investors, and this 400, and this is an accumulative graph. That means in the last year, we distribute almost 3 million to our investors. This is the distributions. And some of our investors leaves their money into the escrow account for equity and help until they accumulate enough to buy another home. And that means that this figure includes that, because if they decide to keep it in their escrow account, the 3 million, they have it there for us. It's a distribution when it goes to the escrow, but it's in their account. And then here we show that this is the top 3 bestsellers: Illinois, Ohio, and Indiana, the 3 top states. And then the average monthly payment is $689 with 14. That includes principal and interest. Remember that here you are becoming the bank. The investor is becoming the bank. So the families cover insurance, and they cover also property taxes. So they cover property taxes and insurance, which is another 150 plus more a month, and the 689.14 principal and interest for the investor. From this money, the equity and help charge a fee, which is $65, which is around 10%, the standard fee, and for the investor. And so that goes the net to the investor. Okay. And then this is the portfolio. 70.30% of the families are current. 22.87% are still paying late, but under 90 days. When they pay late, they pay a fee of $25 of late fee per month, and that money goes 100%. That money goes 100% to the investor. And then the 6.82% is still late, but more than 90 days. And this is when the Philanthroinvestors viewpoint comes in. Because, for example, something that we do is the investor, we encourage and we qualify our investors, because if the family pay on time the entire year, the investor should say, family, I gift you the Christmas payment. And that's something that we request from the investors. If the family pays on time the entire year, the Christmas payment is a gift, and that is used by the family to have a reliable and nice Christmas for their family. And so that's something we do. And all of that I share with you, the 12.06% cash on cash is after all of that fees and the Christmas thing and everything, and the defaults and the lateness and all of that. So here is all of that is already computed. So this is net.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
That's basically the numbers thing.
Very cool. Very impressive. So share with me how it works for an investor to invest into a portfolio of properties. You said their own portfolio. So it's not like you have equity and help fund one that, let's say, $10 million goes into that fund one, and that 10 million goes buy all of these properties. That's not how it works. So share with us how it works for the investors.
So how it works for the investor is like, imagine equity and help with 2 different areas of operation. Number 1, real estate wholesaling. Okay, so we buy the homes, we wholesale them to you as the investor. One area. You purchase the homes from us, we just do the acquisition and all of that, and we have an inventory, and that inventory, the investors come, there is a first come, first serve. There is a process which we call the account opening form. So the investor will open the account first with the $1,000 that goes to his escrow account. That $1,000 gets the investor to answer 24 questions that he needs to answer with our Philanthroinvestor consultant. It gets the investor qualified, if it qualifies, because it needs to be a good fit for this model. Then the investor sends the money to escrow and says, okay, I am going to do 250,000. He sends the money to escrow. And then he enters into a pipeline of first come, first serve, because we have investors in 14 countries of the world. And then, as soon as his turn comes in, the Philanthroinvestor consultant will come and say, okay, this is the available inventory. let's look at it. The investor will say, okay, I like this home, I like this home, I like this home, I don't like this one.
Mhm.
And this is coming from a software that we call the Equity and Health Matrix, which has been working for 6-7 years to create. This is our own software. I think we have spent more than $300,000-$400,000 or more in just having our own software handmade for our company. And then yeah, so we have that. It comes a proposal from the software, and it shows it's very detailing the proposal with the different homes and so on. And it shows the pictures, the inspection pictures, etc., etc. And then the investor says, okay, I want these homes. He buys them. Good. First part of the transaction is done. Now, if the investor wants to take the homes on his own and do whatever he wants, he can. He owns the homes. Okay, second part of the transaction. He hires Equity and Help as a property manager on these homes. And then Equity and Help starts and start finding the family for that home. And it may be, there is an opportunity that we're launching now, which is the home financing, which is if the family requires funds, the investor can also finance improvements, and it's just add to the principal balance of the home. But he has the family doing the sweat equity, and the investor is the bank. Similar to banks give you money for construction and gives you money for the assets. They are smart in that way. And I'm sure the Fed calls two assets in their balance sheets. You know what that two assets are? Gold and mortgages. So being the bank on the real estate world is the most smart thing one can do. It's better than the landlord, it's better than the fixer and flipper. The bank wins, right? But in this case, it's a philanthropic bank, which is at the same time helping the family, on a sense.
Very cool.
So it's a teamwork. And then the property management agreement with Equity and Help, and just standard property management. And then what happened is that at a certain point, if you're not happy with the property management, you can change property manager. Or you can manage the homes yourself and continue collecting the money yourself. That's basically the relation. You're not attached to a fund. That's it.
I see. Very cool. Okay. So the investors, your company wholesales the property to the investors. Your company also provides the property management to the investors as well. The investors buys these properties outright, and then they owner finance it to the buyers that you help them find.
That's right. And then we manage and we collect the payments for the loan, and we send them and distribute the money to the investors. We call them Philanthroinvestors.
Gotcha. Okay. And then, so how do you, who is the avatar type of investors that you look for? What type of people are they? What career type they are? Yeah.
Okay. So basically, the type of investor that we have, the majority of them are people that we call the friend philanthropy investors and the misqualified philanthropy investors that were not correctly qualified. Because we will have an investor that will say, oh no, this family is late for 60 days, kick them out. Hey, sir, listen, this is not that. This is not the way I understood it, whatever. I want to sell these homes. This family is late 60 days. Oh, why I need to give this payment for Christmas? I don't like that now. And we say, hey, investor, there is an expense that we can help the family with $2,000 for this that they need to fix. And you are going to increase your 12% interest cash on cash on this. No, I am not going to help this family. So what we try is to find other investors that can buy them out, or somehow, or they can, we are not in the commitment to do, but that's basically an option that we work towards. Or some investors will say, okay, continue managing your property yourself, buddy, because this is not how the model works. And this is equity and help, not equity and become rich. Equity and richness.
I see.
Okay, so that's that. And then we have that's only like 10-15% of our investors. We have almost 200 investors all over the world. So the main thing is that the good investors work with us, and they say, okay, yes, how I can help this family. don't worry, take the money from escrow, let's do this, I will finance the family for more. And yeah, and they just work with the family, and they understand that they are being the bank, but they're being a philanthropic bank, and they just work with us. And the ideal investor is this type of person, but also this is long-term money because it's not fix and flip. It can happen, Tim, and it has happened many times, that the family will come and will pay off the loan and go refinance and purchase tradition standardly. Oh, because this is another cool thing. We report the positive payments of the families to the 3 bureaus. So we report these payments. So we help them improve their credit score. And in a point, they say, oh, I am going to refinance for a lower rate. And here is the cash for the investor all at once. And now the investor sits with the Philanthropy investor consultant and says, hey, I am going to buy another home. I have cash.
I love it. That's awesome. Okay, so the investor type, they're like what your typical landlord would be, but with this model, it's much more passive for them. There's no repairs they have to do. The buyers are actual owners of the property, so they're responsible for all of that. But the investors are still getting average 26% return on their money while it's being passive. So would you say that, like, when you're out there marketing for investors, you look for the landlord type of people to target?
It needs to be long-term landlord type of people with available cash, because these homes are not bank financing homes. Like, the investor will not be able to get a loan and put 25% down because he's selling the home to a family. So he needs to be a cash investor, or he needs to have his money into an IRA, for example, that his money sitting there. We are all prepared to self-direct IRAs into this model. We have many, like millions of dollars of self-directed IRA. We have also done 1031 with this. We have investors that have sold multifamily deals, and all of that money goes into equity and help to the specific homes into 1031 form. And so that type of money, 1031 money, self-directed IRA money, cash that is sitting there in their savings to put it into this long term. And yes, the only thing that the investor needs to do is make the key material decisions, because that's the thing. Philanthropy investing is engaging emotionally while promoting human welfare and making a financial return. So we don't want these investors to be like not knowing anything. So we send them a very detailed report every month with 4 pages that has all the details of the families, the payments, the details, the homes, like everything is there. And we are almost there, having not only sending a PDF report, but having a portal, a live portal where you log in similar to a bank account, and you will see all of that live. And so that's basically how it works, Tim.
Very cool. Okay. So so you're looking for investors that, want to get a returns, but that they also believe in helping others, helping these families. And so they're willing to be flexible when the time is needed. They are generous to be able to participate in the Christmas payments and things like that. How has it been for you in attracting these type of investors? Has it been easy? Has it been difficult? You have to do more education to them? What has your experience been?
We have a force, which is something good. Our strategy has been, we have a force of what we call Philanthroinvestors ambassadors. And this is either real estate agents or financial educators, or just people that wants to have a side hustle on their own and they love this mission, and they can become Philanthroinvestors ambassadors and basically build a residual income, extra residual income for them. And they make, basically, every time that they bring us an investor, we pay them, a new investor, we pay them $4,000 each. And there is a way for them, if they are more engaged, there is a way for them to make around 7,000 or 8,000, something like that. So there is different programs.
I see.
And and the main thing is that, and then every time their client reinvests into buying another home, we send them another fee. It's a marketing fee. It's not a real estate agent commission. because they are not selling the home, they are bringing a lead, that's all. And we are not paying a percentage. It's just a marketing fee that we give them. And yeah, so that's basically it. And what else I was going to share? Yeah, and so this force of people is bringing us constantly new investors, and we have the investors that are investing and so on. And I have, for example, I have a financial educator that is a guy that is a new educator in real estate, and he's educating in real estate and on financial education and so on, who is making anywhere from 30 to 40,000 a month, just adding this activity to his portfolio of activities. So there is an opportunity there also for people that is willing to help us expand, you know?
Very cool. So what would you say, like the percentage of investors that you found in-house versus the percentage of investors through your ambassador network? What would you say is the percentage-wise?
I will say is 80 through the ambassadors and 20 through in-house.
Wow, impressive.
80% to the ambassadors and 20% through in-house. Yes.
Okay. Wow, that's good. Okay. I like that. I like that model.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And I want to show you, Tim, if you allow me, I want to show you 2 short videos, which are 1.5 minutes.
Okay, let's do it. Yeah, when you share, make sure you click on optimize for video.
Okay, optimize for video. I will do that. Give me just a second.
Harina de clase mundial que eleva el valor de tu propiedad.
We've been here for almost 3.
Okay, give me just a second. I'm about to share here. And the brand that we use in the face of the families is called Easy Homes. That's the brand on the DBA of the company on the face of the families is Easy Homes. You will see now. Okay.
Gotcha. Okay.
Give me just a second. I will share here. Optimize for video and share sound. Okay, here it is. I will show you a family. So you see an example of a family and an example of an investor.
We've been here for
almost
3 years now.
3 years.
3 years?
Yeah,
Yeah,
3 years.
3 years. And it's home. It feels like home. This is home. And we still, and the most fun part is we still got stuff with things that we want to do. Be more creative, turn this into that, move this around. We lived all around South Boston, Virginia, and then Philly. It feels good to be able to call your house a home. And it's a difference. It's a very big difference to be able to paint a wall green if you like, or paint a wall brown or tan or whatever, which I have a lot of colors going on. So I work for families, taking care of their loved ones. And Harry is building maintenance. He's been with his company for 26 years. So that comes in handy with this house too, his building maintenance knowledge. I've heard of in-house financing. You can see it on the internet when you go searching for like different things, but I've never heard of a program like this. That's the difference between trying to find a landlord to work with you so you can have a place to stay versus a whole company.
Right.
You know what I mean? That specializes in helping home people who most likely wouldn't be able to get a traditional mortgage. Mm-hmm. So to help them actually be homeowners. But yeah, it was a fun experience. The game room came from the 17-year-old. I tried to be colorful. We called one room the gold room, one room the red room. So that came from my daughter, and then we got carried away with it. Thank you. Thank you so much. We've been here.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's basically, I have so many videos like that. You can search for Equity and Help on YouTube, the channel, and inside the Equity and Help channel, there is a lot of videos there. But let me see if I have here one that I wanted to share here, which is the investor one. Let me see here.
My name is.
Give me just a second. I will share this one again. Share. Are you seeing?
Yeah, I can see.
My name is Kim Bellotti, and I am basically an entrepreneur. Done a little tiny bit of real estate, and it really is how to get the right numbers. The object is to make sure you're not going to lose money. And so the fret over that, it freezes you into really moving forward. I'm just telling anybody who might be thinking about investing with this company, you can pick the amount of money that you want to, give it over to the company. They will sit down with you. They'll let you see the houses. You can pick whatever you want. That report comes to me in the email. The check is going to be in the mail a couple of days later. I get the check in the mail and I go, oh, there's another check in the mail. Great. I get a little bit excited about the families in the homes because my girl in Equity and Help that markets my houses for me, she sends me the photos. If I have a family that never would have been able to buy a house otherwise, is moving into one of my houses, they're fixing it up, they're sending her photos. We just put these bushes in the backyard. Look at the roses. We painted new flooring, and she forwards that all to me. So I get to see the happiness of all of that. So the purpose of Equity and Help for me is to make everybody win, from the company to the investor to the family moving into the house to the property even. It's just every aspect there's some improvement, and it's fair across all of them. There's a nice profit for the company, there's a nice profit for me, there's a good home for the person moving in. They will have a great investment. In the future, the equity of the house will go up for them. It's just across the boards, it just works for everybody. Nobody loses.
Love it. All right, let's do this, because I'm sure some of the folks might want to ask you further questions. For the folks that wants to reach out to you, connect with you, learn more, where would you like to send them?
Okay, I will put an email here in the chat. So for everybody, it will be info@equityandhelp.com. I just put it in the chat.
Okay, very cool. Ivan, thank you so much for doing this interview with me today.